Well, the One Nation Leader, Senator Pauline Hanson, has made her way up from the Senate into the Sky News studio and can join us now. Thanks for joining us, Pauline. Firstly, on these IR bills, everyone's focusing on Senator David Pocock, the former rugby-playing sort of teal independent senator. Is he the only one that the Labor Party can win over here, or are you still in the game?
Oh God, they're not going to win me over on the bill as it is, Chris. It's just horrendous, and it's going to take a backward step for not only workers but also for the whole small business and big business and everyone in the country. Speaking to businesses, they said they can't agree with this multiple enterprise bargaining that they're proposing to do. Chris, I think this is a smoke and screen. And I think it's all about the unions want increased numbers in their membership. That's what this is all about. There's only about 13 or 14% of people who are part of the unions. They are going to create multiple enterprise bargaining right across businesses so that you'll have to bring in the unions to negotiate on your behalf. If they were fair dinkum about this, then Fair Work Australia should have looked at the wages of employees and then raised the wages. They're so out of whack and the problem's there. So why do you have to force people in enterprise bargaining? It's not just about wages, Chris. It's all the add-ons that come with that as well, that businesses will have to pay for. And businesses, a small business, say if they've got 20 or 30 employees, how are they going to compete and pay with what a business who has 80 or 100 employees, how are they going to compete with them and pay the same to their employees? The whole thing is absolutely ridiculous.
You're spot on in what the aim is. The idea is that they can try and spread the union tentacles so that people working in those small businesses feel the need to become members of the union, and because it's less than 1 in 10 people in the private sector are actually union members, and so the unions want to extend their reach. So there's no amendments here that will satisfy you. You're completely opposed to this bill altogether, Pauline?
Chris, the bill needs to be split, OK? You can take out the ABCC. We did a lot of work on that with months. Years ago, it was in 2017, and we actually helped the government with their legislation to improve it, to make it better. So anyway, we've been through that. We've been through ROC. We actually know that they are in place and they are protecting businesses and especially the construction industry, I should say, from the unions, and it stopped the thuggery that was going on. Now, I asked the Commission, I went to Fair Work Commission, I asked them the question, I said, how many businesses have you actually sat down? And I said, you're pushing for higher wages, enterprise bargaining. Have you really investigated to ask if businesses can afford this, what you're going to do to them? And they haven't. They have not looked at the other side of the coin, because I'll tell you now, if you force this onto businesses, they will actually shut down, get rid of some of their workers, they will actually go overseas. This is going to cause a big impost on jobs in Australia, believe me. I'm about the only one in that parliament that has had small business most of my life, and I've employed people. I asked bureaucrats, how many businesses have you run? How many people you employed? They said, well, no, we haven't. We're only, public servants. They wouldn't have a clue. Until you have been hands-on and you understand the circumstances here, no one can relate to it. And it's a big push by the unions to get back the monies they invested in the Labor Party, and that's what this is all about. There's no common sense. And I hope that David Pocock, and I don't believe he can handle the pressure on him with all the other legislation to really get his head around this. So I'm hoping that the small coalition of crossbench that is here, that we can actually then come to an agreement and pull out of part of the legislation what needs to be thrown out of the legislation and stand our ground with this, and then say, right, then we look at the rest of the legislation and any amendments that might be put up.
It's a crucial fight at a really difficult economic time for this country. Thanks for joining us, Pauline.
My pleasure. Thanks, Chris.